Welcome to the demo day for software development 2024. It's our first cohort completing in 2024, and it's really exciting. The cohort that you're going to see today started on the bootcamp 16 weeks ago, doing a foundations course, learning the very basics of programming, learning how to test, how to use databases, learning how to create websites, learning how to use agile processes for teamwork and building things together, and how to collaborate using code. The ones that you're going to be seeing tonight chose to follow on to the software development specialism, where we focus on the process of developing software, how to build up a solid process so that any problem that the developers come across, they feel confident that they can overcome. We also focus on engineering principles so that everything they build is as high quality as it can possibly be. The software engineering track is full on. It's got a lot of challenges there. You learn lots of new, learn multiple new languages as the course goes on. You learn to build mobile apps, and the teamwork just gets more complex, working on more complex code bases and more complicated projects. And the members of this cohort have done really well in navigating all of that. It's been an intense 16 weeks, but you've done really an excellent job, and you should be very pleased with it. All of that ends up culminating in the final project, which is what you're going to be seeing tonight. It's an opportunity for the developers to put together everything that they've learned over the previous 16 weeks, all of the lessons, all of the struggles, and use it to build something of their own choosing. We don't tell them what to make. They completely decide what it is that they want to build, and they do it from start to finish. So without any further ado, I'd quite like to introduce the first presentation. And first of all, we're blasting off to experience the thrills and desolation of outer space. So please welcome our first project, Space Rescue.
Can you all hear me? Do I need to get closer? Space Rescue is a 3D game that will make you feel heroic. So I'm going to talk about teamwork. I'm going to talk about planning, my tech stack, key features, challenges, and then we'll do the demo. Sounds like a lot, but I'm going to breeze through it. Don't worry. Okay, so teamwork. I chose to do this project solo. There were some pros and cons to doing a. We're getting the static again. Let's stand over here. There were some pros and cons to doing a solo project. One of the cons is that it can be quite lonely. There were times when I wished that yeah, it's a slow burn. Where I wish that I had some people to sort of bounce some of my pretty dodgy technical decisions off of. But at the end, it kind of worked out. So when you're talking about planning, there are some benefits of working solo. One of them is that you get to drive however you like. So that was great. So when you're talking about planning, you're really talking about dreams versus reality. And I had some big dreams for this project. I wanted to do some cool stuff. I wanted to have a bunch of features. But the reality was really less than, yeah. So I started with agile stories. These are stories that are meant to sort of outline some goals for my player since the game. So these are some key goals that I wanted my player to be able to achieve. Then I created some progressive MVPs. So MVP is minimum viable product. So each of these would be a celebrated milestone. So I would have been happy if I'd hit number 1, to be honest. But so each of these is like, okay, cool, I did that. But I actually did manage to get to MVP 6. So I hope I'm not setting the bar to your expectations too high here. So using the expectations game. My tech stack is React.js, TypeScript, I use Rails on the back end using Devise because it makes it a lot easier to sort of set up secure authentication and registration. And I used Babylon JS as the 3D rendering engine to be able, you'll see 3D objects in space. Some of the things you'll see, cosmic exploration in 3D, you get full control of your spacecraft. There's an interactive tutorial. You have a proper mission. You get to see space. There's a real-time spacecraft monitoring with onboard gauges. You can earn and spend credits, and there's like immersive mission control HUD. You're like, yeah, when do we get to see it? Some of the challenges, managing state was a big challenge because your gauges are interacting with the spacecraft and it has to know like different pieces of information while the spacecraft is moving through space. And while it'll look simple when you see the demo, it was super complex to try to figure out all those sort of different states. Thinking in 3D space and building in intuitive flight mechanics was very, very challenging. And then, of course, that interactive tutorial, which you'll see, the tutorial has to interact with all of these sort of complex states and mechanics that I had built. So that was very challenging. Okay, so on to the demo. 3 fingers to the left, right, John? Nope. To the no. So it starts like all good apps with a registration and a login. And the registration has everything you'd expect from a registration. I'm talking slow because for some reason this part of the video is super slow. I took a long time to decide what email I wanted to into the field. And boy, it feels like forever right now. So yeah, come on, Megan, just type that email already. You know, I may have to fast forward to this. Right. It happened. Okay. So there's a login. And now we're gonna oh, so I'm logging in. Right. So the first thing you see is an explainer for the game. I might pause on this once it fades in to give you guys a little bit of time to read it. So while you're reading that, I'm going to point out that when you logged in, it knew your name. So I logged in as Jane Smith, not my real name. And you're on level 1 and you get 100 credits to spend. We'll see how we spend those credits later on. Some people already know. So let's go ahead and continue. So you're a pilot ranger, and your job is to rescue rover on the planet Mars to sort of keep it free. So there's a tutorial that explains the controls of the spacecraft. So you can just do it, Megan. All right. So you can turn the spacecraft around. You can go to the left and right. You can see Mars in the distance. You can open the flight data. So it's asking you to open your flight data. On the left, you'll see a HUD that has the galactic coordinates, and it has, this will bring up some relevant information as you get closer to Mars. Then it's now asking me to open the flight instruments. So on the left-hand side here, you can see that I have a velocity, and the velocity will track the speed of the aircraft as you're flying. The fuel will track your fuel levels, as it says, and the onboard oxygen. And these are dynamic gauges, which you'll see once we start flying. So we're going to position it, and away we go. So you can see it's tracking the coordinates on the left as you fly through space, and the fuel levels are dropping alarmingly fast. this caused a lot of anxiety for some of the people watching this earlier. It did actually manage to do a successful orbit, though. And it's showing you the landing conditions, which are including the weather down on the ground. So you have the option now to attempt a landing if you'd like. So we're thinking about it, but I think we're going to attempt the landing. All right. So once we attempt the landing, you don't actually have enough fuel to land, so you need to spend your last 100 credits in order to fill up. So if you say no, you're just going to get stuck out here forever. So probably it's in your best interest to spend your money and fill up on fuel. So we're going to do that. Then we're going to initiate our super high tech landing sequence. And that's going to do a bunch of complicated things in the background. And then
Thank you, Megan. So you've rescued your best friend, but what are you going to do with them? Or how are you going to spend that time? The next team might have an idea. Play some games. Team Oppo, please, would you come up to the stage?
Hi everybody, welcome to Oppo Games. We're an online retro gaming platform where gamers can join live gaming sessions and compete against each other online. And we'll also have a strong social element where we have messaging and gaming in your browser, so you can play with anyone, anywhere in the world.
So, how does our journey to creating Oppo Games get started? We started by creating a team charter which defined our working practices, how we would support each other, and how we would record our progress. We'd already decided we wanted to build a games platform, so the next thing was to come up with ideas, inspiration, and the concept. And eventually, we settled on a two-player game website for just kind of light retro games with a chat function and with accounts, so that you could record your wins and losses, and also get to know those you were playing with. So, in order to figure out how this website was going to look and work, we thought about user stories and user journeys so that we could imagine how users would pass through the different pages of our website, what visual experiences they were being presented with, and we used wireframes to plan out how the different pages would look. And we also planned out how the backend, how the server that runs the games would operate. So as we developed, it started off quite bare bones, but very quickly we got to the point where we were playing live games against each other on Zoom. And you can see that I've just lost one to Sudanch. Well done, Sudanch. And as you can see, we worked on our graphic design as well to make it look very nice and presentable. So I would like to give you a highlight from development, which was part of what we wanted to provide to our players. This is an example of a user story, and it says, as a player, I would like a fair, reliable gameplay experience so that I can be confident that victories will be well earned. How do we make this happen? Without an anti-cheat system, for instance, if you have the players' computers directly communicating with each other, we have two main problems. The first is that a cheater could make forbidden moves, which the other player's computer would have to believe. And the second is that a cheater could peek at hidden information in order to cheat, for instance, in a number guessing game, and the honest opponent wouldn't be able to prove that this was happening. So how's this solved? With an anti-cheat system that runs on the server, which also holds information about the game. So the server checks and prevents all forbidden moves, and the server is also careful not to send any information that could be used to cheat. So you can make sure that in Oppo Games, you have the most secure and fair gaming experience.
Cool. Okay, now we'd like to demo to you how far we've got. So this is a little video. Okay. Move on to that speed. So there you go. You can see our lobby there, where you can scroll down and see some descriptions of games we have. So we've got tic-tac-toe, got some nice retro graphics going on there to accentuate the retro aesthetic of our website. That's the video loading, not the website. Our website's really good. There we go. And rock, paper, scissors. Okay. And then you get to the homepage where you can Yep, and it gets to the homepage where you can start playing. We don't have an account yet, so we're going to sign up. And to make our website proof to people like this who don't know how to create an account, we have some various checks. So their username needs to have 6 characters, their email needs to be properly formatted, and the password needs to have at least 6 characters, some letters, and a special character. So they failed to make a valid email address. We've checked for that. They've made one valid password, but they're not the same. Come on, you better. There we go. And finally, 2 valid passwords. And then they're going to try and log in, and when they spelled the password correctly, there we go. We're logged in. And this is the sort of lobby page for the website. So you can see all the games we have going here. You can create a new game or view any ongoing games. And here we're going to create a new tic-tac-toe game. But unfortunately, this person doesn't have anybody to play with. So they're going to screen into our messaging system, and we're going to create a new player. And they're going to play together. It's not their turn. And you can see we have our sort of our live data system where we can instantly send information back and forth. So it's a seamless game experience. And after the world's worst tic-tac-toe game, player wins.
So next I'm going to talk very quickly about our chosen tech stack. For the actual framework of the website, we chose MERN. It's a very popular framework for creating websites. This is the way that we stored our users and our game data. For the actual styling of the website, we chose to use, instead of raw CSS, we used Tailwind CSS. It just kind of makes making quite complicated and personalized UI decisions really, really quick. In the lower left-hand corner, you can see you do normal CSS, it's like 20 lines of code versus 3. It's great. And our main differentiator is that we implemented Socket.io for the live messaging and the live move updates. If you don't implement Socket, it's like every time you go to a web page, you kind of dial up the database. Database tells you information, but you don't get any new information while you're on that one page without refreshing. With Socket, it's like you have a switchboard operator, and everybody who's on that website, the switchboard knows, oh, there's something new that's happened on the site. Let's tell everybody that that new thing has happened, whether it's messaging or a new game state.
I'm going to talk to you about what we learned on this project. And this is the third and final project. And it's the first time we've worked with quality engineers. And their job was to do just that, ensure that the quality of our code was sufficient enough. And so they would test our code. And there are a number of times when I would be working on a project with Sudanch, on an element with Sudanch, and the testers would just enter our breakout room and say, yeah, we found a bug, and we'd have to jolly well fix it. And then we'd say, yeah, we fixed it. And sure enough, they'd be back in about half an hour saying, still there, and it's bigger and worse. So another thing we learned is the importance of pair programming. It's essential really for the success of the team. Just having two heads are better than one, and having that other person to bounce ideas off. And sure enough, if you're writing code and you're writing for many hours, you need that second pair of eyes who's going to pick up on a bug that you've written alongside you. Another really key learning point for us in this project was effective communication, making sure that we met frequently enough that everyone knew what was going on, but also not over communicating and having too many meetings that it impeded our progress. We also really needed to make sure that our meetings were focused, had a clear agenda, and were succinct and to the point. Another really key learning point was task management. So using a Trello board that looks a little bit like the one that you can see behind me, just making sure that we know who's working on which tickets, which ones are to do, which are in progress, which we're doing, and making sure that we don't have too many occasions, although they did happen, where 2 people were working on the same element, and making sure that we were working as efficiently as possible.
Okay, so how we worked well as a team. I personally think this is probably the most important part beyond the tech. So we firstly had clearly assigned roles. So as Laura was saying, we had like a ticket system, so we knew what we were doing every morning. And with the daily stand-ups, we would just say what our goals were, who's doing what, and that way we were able to keep things on track. As a team, I'm going to say we probably had the best problem solving skills as a group. Whenever we got a bug or any issue, we could always lean on each other, and we knew where to go for the answers. So we never really got stuck in things too long, which was really good. And that kind of leads to continuous improvement. We would always give feedback, particularly on how the team is working, so we wouldn't get stuck on too many issues too quickly. And that comes down to the daily stand-ups. So we'd always talk about whatever's going on. And as a team, we had really good work ethic. I think we're all very passionate about the project and very excited about it. And that was shown by the amount of effort we put in. And we're very, very hardworking and proud of what we've achieved. And wealth of knowledge. I think a lot of us learned things that others weren't necessarily working on, but we always shared that knowledge between us. So as a group, we can leave knowing that we've learned something that we didn't know to begin with. So yeah, really proud of that. And yeah, thank you so much for listening.
Thank you, Team Oppo. Playing games is a social thing, and in a very tenuous segue, I'm going to continue the social theme and bring on a team who are aiming to do something about one of the social problems in our world. So please welcome Team Bald Bible. Sludge. I'm very slick. I appreciate it. Thank you.
You gentlemen. Yeah. What's Liza? Hello, everyone. I'm Harry, and we are Team Bald Bible. And I'm sure you can't tell, but I am the baldest member of Team Bald Bible. So it made sense for me to do the introduction. So obviously, I haven't always been bald. I did lose my hair. And the funny thing about that process is that it's actually kind of a weird process. Like, it's not particularly fun or enjoyable process to go through. It's quite confronting in many ways. It can be quite lonely, even though lots of people go through it for lots of different reasons. And so obviously when I realized that that was happening to me, the first thing I did is what anybody does when anything happens to them. I Googled it. And this is what I found. Basically, hundreds of websites that are suddenly trying to sell me something, buy these pills or this spray or whatever it might be. And, these things help people and it's great. And I tried them and some of them worked and some of them don't. But actually, there's not many messages which are like this, your hair doesn't define you, embrace your hair loss, be who you are, and ultimately it doesn't make any difference. So that's kind of where the idea for Bald Bible came from. So Bald Bible is a Pinterest style image sharing web app, because ultimately we're talking about body image. So we thought the most sensible way to influence people's body image was using images, positive images. And hopefully it's a positive community to help people embrace their hair loss and maybe gives a little alternative to traditional hair loss. Now I'm going to hand over to Zara, but Zara is on the remote cohort, so she has filmed her bit. So sorry if it's a little bit quiet, but she's going to talk about our wireframes and the tech stack.
Aimed at delivering the MVP, our team collaboratively crafted some wireframes to conceptualize the UI and the UX of our web app, and this is what we've come up with. The first is our homepage, which serves as our feed. These were initially modules, but now transitioned into dedicated pages. This is the post login page, and this is our original componentry. Continuous communication, our web app has not only adhered to the initial wireframes, but has seen valuable additions, enhancing the user experience. The deliberate incorporation of extra features stemmed from collaborative discussions, guided by the wireframes as a foundation for planning. Wireframes proved essential for visualizing concepts, iterating on ideas, and ensuring effective communication amongst the team. The end result is a product that goes beyond expectations, demonstrating the value of both adherence to initial plans and the flexibility to enhancing them. This is our tech stack. We chose Main because it provides a unified JavaScript stack. For our database, we went with MongoDB's Atlas because it's a cloud-based database which is suitable for handling multimedia content. For our framework, we went with Express. For our front end, we integrated React with Vite, which is perfect for responsive experience for image uploading. For our back end, we went with Node. For our testing, we had a comprehensive testing suite, Jest for our backend and Cypress for our front end. To handle image and media management, we went with Cloudinary because it's a cloud-based service, and when it's paired with MongoDB's Atlas, the combination provides a robust and scalable infrastructure for managing multimedia content, ensuring optimal solution for our image sharing application. In the initial phase of our
Not that one. That one. Hello. Hello, everyone. I'm going to do our tech demo. So, welcome to the Bold Bible. For those of you who haven't seen it already, as you can see, it's a Pinterest style app with images showing our bold positivity people. This is our logged out user view, so you're unable to interact by liking or commenting on posts, and instead it plugs you to log in. And also with our app, it's resizable and scalable, so usable on mobile devices, not just on web pages. Now I'm going to make myself a login, and I'm going to try and do it a bit faster than Megan. It's nice. You need your first name, last name, whatever appropriate username goes by. So we'll go with this. Email and passwords. Our passwords are held encrypted by Bcrypt and stored in a database. Once signed in, it will then log you in automatically and take you to our logged in homepage with our welcome username. Now you can interact with our web images, so you can go and like, comment whatever you like on the images. You can also view comments, and then you can also delete comments you've made already. You can't delete other users' comments. I'm now going to go down and demonstrate that by the image I tried to put out earlier. So now we can see other people's comments, but you can't delete them. You're now thinking, let's upload our first images to Bold Bible. And obviously, I'm not bold, but I wanted to be part of the community. So here's something I made earlier. We're gonna give it a like and a nice comment to show the positivity. I'm gonna hope it doesn't lose, but. And another thing about Bold Bible is when you upload your images, it actually resizes them to make it more appropriate and more user-friendly on the UI. So here I'm uploading a very large, oversized image, so it might take a second to upload. But as it does that, it will now resize it, so now it's more viewable for users on the UI. I'm going to give that a like as well. Thanks very much. I'll pass you over to Liza with our learning journey.
I will talk about how we work as a team. So we start with planning. We planned layout and component structure for our application. And before we start coding, we had absolutely clear understanding of functionality of our app and style. And we used Trello to divide work into tickets. And team communication, we had everyday catch-up, pairing, discussion in Slack, and all decision which we made, it was team decision. So our achievement, we improved our coding skills and also our soft skills. We help one each other, we communicate correctly and clearly, and we definitely learn together as a team more than alone. So, and our challenges, the first challenge is sometimes multiple people work on the same feature. So we discuss, make communication better, and we make sure our ticket as understandable to your voter. And the second challenge was to choose appropriate way to upload images. So we made research and we made team decision to use cloud journaling. And the third challenge, it was make sure everybody from our team understand how every feature works. So we use everyday retro to make sure we all understand how everything works. So that's it. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Team Bald Bible. I'm sure it's an experience familiar to everyone here, sitting around talking about the bald celebrities in the world. You know, who owns more, who's worth more, Samuel L. Jackson or Bruce Willis? What do you think? It's one or two. Which do you think's worth more, Samuel L. Jackson, Bruce Willis? Bruce Willis, want to bet? Yes. Our next group can help out with that. So please welcome the next group, the Bruisers Weepers. Bruisers Weepers.
Hello, everyone. So we are Team Boozers Weepers. This evening, you'll see a lot of honours to the traditional tech titans, but we wanted to pay homage to, the real key individuals within the tech community. Less your Bezos, your Musk, more your Dyers, your Ray Winstons, and actually honour where the real business gets done, not a slick Silicon Valley, new all-glass warehouse, but I'm talking a pub with a sticky table, a gaudy carpet, and a mate who is talking absolute rubbish, and more importantly, and more annoyingly, never pays his bill. Mike, I am looking at you. So Boozers Weepers is a social media and lifestyle application that is based around making sure that people put their money where their mouth is and can back up what they say. It's based around, as I say, respecting the most sacred of places, the British pub. So I will throw over and we will take a look at how the site works.
So this is our initial page when you first go to the website. You can, we're going to register a new user. You see, we'll put in our username, or email, the username, and a password, but it will make sure that your email and username are unique. And your password has a special character and it's a minimum of 8 characters. Otherwise, we'll get an error like here, the username is already in use. You will then be directed to sign in once we've successfully registered. And we'll log in. We'll be directed to our user homepage and it will show that I've got no wages at the moment. I haven't created any. But I can also have a look in the nav bar at groups that are available. And so far, I'm not part of any groups. I haven't joined any groups yet, but I can go to this search bar and then start typing in and it'll give me groups I can join. I'll go to this group. So far, it shows me the members, but as I've not joined, I can't see any of the information about that group other than that. But now I've joined, I can see details of wages that have gone on in that group. Now I'm making a new bet with someone, so I'm going to make a bet with Catherine. And now I'm going to create a wager. I'm going to put in a description of what this bet I'm going to propose is. I'm going to say there will be heat wave on Sunday. I'll put the date when this bet should be resolved by. When I say it should have happened, I can decide who's won or lost. And then it will show in my pending wages. Now, Catherine will have to accept that wager because she can't have a wager against her consent. So I'll now pass over to Catherine and she'll initially start off showing how you accept that wager.
Okay, so I already have an account. So I'm just going to quickly sign in using my email and password that I made previously. And once I log in, you can see I've got like my Blackboard complete. So I've got a notification at the top. Someone wants to wager with me. Clicking on it, I can see that it's the wager that Rachel just sent. I can have a look at the information, the deadline, and I fancy my chances with this one. So I will accept this wager. this brings it into my ongoing wages. So you can see I've got a few on the go at the moment, including that one I've just accepted from Rachel. I'm not ready to kind of declare or settle those ones yet. But if I look at my unresolved wages, this is one which has passed its deadline. So clicking on this, I can see that me and Lizzie had a bet that it would snow on Christmas Day. And unfortunately, Lizzie lost that one. So I'm going to declare myself the winner, which makes it show up in my past wages or my wins and losses there. And now, if I go over to my wallet, I have got a pint waiting for me from Lizzie. So next time I find myself at the pub with her, I can get up to the bar, click on it, remind her of the pint that she owes me, claim it, and you can see now it's disappeared from my wallet. The final feature we'd like to show you is our leadership board. So here we can see the boozers and the losers from our users. We can see that Mike is doing very well, 100% win rate with his bets. The top boozer here, Lucky Abby, has got 3 pints waiting for her that she's yet to claim. And embarrassingly, me over here, Catherine, has been the top weeper. So I'm the biggest ower of pints. So I need to get myself down the pub.
So for our tech stack, we decided to use Mern, which was something that we used in previous projects. So we were fairly confident. We kind of knew how it would work. That confidence was pretty short-lived. We sort of started off by running into quite a few problems where things that we thought would be easy or things we thought we knew how to do just took a little bit longer and were a little bit more difficult. But that actually gave us a really good opportunity to kind of deepen our understanding of the technologies, to really delve into like how it all worked. And then once we felt more secure in that, we kind of had the opportunity to kind of swap what we were kind of specializing in a little bit more. So in the previous projects, I'd worked more on sort of the back end stuff where the data's being handled and stored. And this time I got to kind of mess around with some of the styling, some of the search bar type stuff. And I know other people who were a bit daunted by the back end, got to really get into that and really get a feel for it. And so now I do actually feel like we are genuinely quite confident with how it all works. So back over to
Yeah, and I just wanted to sort of really follow on from that, rather than going through a list of every bug that we had, because I appreciate some people don't want to be here quite that long. But what actually reflecting more on the journey that we took when it came to overcoming bugs is week 1 through to maybe slightly longer than it should have, a bug was the end of the world. Whereas now what we found is that when we were getting bugs, it was more about communicating. It was more about visualizing what was going wrong. So if somebody would have make change that would cause an error, it was no longer, Ben, I can't believe you've broken everything. We've worked so long on this. It was more, what did you do to cause that? Can we replicate it? And actually enjoying and sort of treasuring those moments where we were able to replicate those bugs, because it means that then you are, number one, have a bigger understanding of what's going on, where it's going wrong, and sometimes how to fix it. And actually, yeah, it's that sort of process of learning that, embracing when things go wrong, but knowing where to steer and how to steer your team and yourself so that you're able to fix them more efficiently. That said, we did want to visit one very annoying bug that happened a few times.
Okay, so I think this story, I'm going to use this to kind of highlight part of our, like a big part of our learning during our time at Makers. So before I started, I thought that big problems were caused by big mistakes. But I've learned in the last 16 weeks that it's the little things that can really trip you up the worst. So one such example, Ben and I were working independently. We noticed the same issue independently. We both fixed the issue independently, and we both uploaded this fix, to our GitHub. The problem was that I called it the file home.css, and Ben called it home.css. Now, this might not seem like a big issue, but we have since found out that the computer can tell the difference between these two things. Where we were saving it online, it cannot. So we got into this thing that every time we tried to save something or download something from our GitHub, the our computer would have a meltdown and just trap us in this never-ending like git merge thing of trying to make us call it home or home, and we just going back and forth, like battling it out. We tried deleting it, it appeared again. We tried renaming it, it appeared again. There seemed nothing that we could do to just get rid of this issue. But as frustrating as this was, and I think we managed to get through it just by just crossing our fingers and just like, yeah, brute forcing it every time. But, you know, to reflect on it, to spin it to a positive, I think it again kind of sums up our learning here. So, you know what, coding is fun, software is exciting, but for a successful project, you need careful planning and you need clear communication. And if we kind of talked about the fixes we were doing, then perhaps we wouldn't have come into this. Oh, and you should never underestimate the power of a capital letter. Yeah.
Thank you, Boozers Weepers. So you've lost a lot of wages. You've lost all your money. You owe 40 people 40 pints apiece. None of your friends will talk to you, but you want to go on holiday. What do you do? Well, I think our next app will be able to help you. Please welcome Roommates.
You go again. Okay, so I'm going to introduce you to our project, which is the brainchild of my co-founders. We have Amina, Daniel, and Piotr here. But first, I think it's worth just spending a moment to reflect on the arc of human technological development. Over millennia, we have been facing all kinds of existential threats. And yet, time after time, we managed to find solutions to these problems through technology. We found solutions for the fact that it's no fun being angry if we can't tell other people that we're angry. And that's why Twitter exists. And we found solutions for the fact that it's scary and potentially embarrassing and sometimes a sackable offense to flirt with people. And so we have Tinder and Hinge and other naughtier ones. And we found solutions for the fact that it's really no fun at all ever to go camping. Tents are annoying and they're bumpy even when everything works out. And that's why we have Airbnb. So you might be wondering if technology has already resolved all of these core issues of the human experience, what remains? Well, today we're looking to solve one of life's final great challenges. And it's the challenge of wanting to go on holiday, but not having any friends to go on holiday with. And that's where Roommates comes in. If you've got no pals, no problem. On Roommates, you can find like-minded travelers just like yourself who want to go where you want to go, do what you want to do, when you want to do it. They're future friends. You just don't know them yet. And you can meet them at Roommates. So today, we're giving you a glimpse of the future of leisure. And we're bringing humanity closer through technology, one holiday with a total stranger at a time. So, Amina.
Roommates, match, roam, connect, building friendships one adventure at a time. On our main page, you have an option to log in or sign up. Let's look at sign up page. You have to input your email, password, and username. We took care of all the security measures, so your passwords are safe. I already have an account, so let me go to login page. I can log in with my details, my email and password, and then I can see the main Roommates page when I can browse through loads of interesting people, see their profiles, and learn a bit more about them. Yeah, if I click in one of the profiles, for example, this is Samantha, I can see her image, her bio, and her stats. She's 29 years old. She identifies as a female. She wants to travel to North America. She wants to do it in the summer. and her style of holidays is mountains. I'm not a hiker, so I don't want to do too much of the movements. I want to stay on the beach, so I'm not going to send her request, but I do have that option. Then I can go to requests page when I can see all the requests that other members sends to me. For example, this two amazing gentlemen want to go on. I can click in Dave's page, learn a bit more about him, see if our preferences align. I can see that he wants to go to the city. I don't want to do that. I want to spend my holiday on the beach. So I'm going to reject him. Then I can go to my matches page and see amazing, another two gentlemen who wants to spend holiday. I can go to Daniel's page, learn a bit more about him and connect with him and plan our next travel. He's 30 years old. He looks 12 though. Then I can go to my own profiles. Yes, I'm a catfish. I can change the settings. This time I want to travel with younger male. I want to go to Asia and I want to do a beach holiday, as I mentioned before. That when I set up my preferences and refresh the page, my profile is updated so other people can have a look and match with me according to my preferences. So yeah, this is Roommates. You can discover your future travel buddies. And after you log out, we implement some safety features as well. So if you're logged out and you want to access the previous access pages like homepage to browse the profiles, you cannot do it because we added authentication to it. So yeah, thank you.
Right, so I'm going to talk you through our learning journey. So we spent 2 days planning, and honestly, it felt like 2 months with just constant Zoom calls, and I fell asleep immediately. In the planning room, we decided what kind of project we wanted to build, how it would look, and the languages and frameworks we would use. We decided how we structure our days. We started off with 3 meetings every day. By the end, I think we were so tired, we did one in the morning, and then maybe one in the afternoon, where we just kind of talked about anything except coding. And then we talked about what I wanted our minimum viable product to be and our deadline for reaching it. And then we agreed upon the group working methods we would use, assigned ourselves to different teams. We had 2 in the back end, 2 in the front end, and 2 quality engineers that kind of kept us in line when we weren't following the rules, and how we would split up the work. So then we move into the coding. As you can see, The Matrix is a good film and we all enjoy it. However, it can be very confusing at times, which is honestly how coding is. So we worked through our project and different problems would creep up, but that meant we had to change our plans. So I think me and Amina tried for 2 days to get something to work in the back end. And then we kind of always try a new approach. We went back to our old approach and it took us half a day, at which point my head met the tape. And as we go on to the learning, this is the exams. This was me at 2 a.m. after I broke something, and I can tell you that was the opposite of what helped. I was at 2 a.m. looking through Google going, what the hell is going on? I went to sleep, woke up in the morning, 5 minutes after looking at it in the morning, solved. It was such a waste of time being angry at it, but I learned that just going to sleep and taking a little break is very nice sometimes. And also, so we worked in pairs a lot of the time, me and Amina taught me little shortcuts to use on the laptop that honestly saved me about 30 minutes each day. And I thought about all the time I'd spent in the course not using those shortcuts. And it became very soul crushing when I realized I wasted so many hours by not looking at these little things.
So I would like to talk about some challenges we faced as a team and also some things we're proud of. First major issue was code quality versus feature release. That was a big thing in our team, but we managed to solve it by having a daily reviews, daily feedback, honest conversation, and good soft skills by basically being honest and kind with each other. The second problem was code complexity. We had different teams working on different parts of the project. Our code base got pretty complicated in time. Just to make sure everyone is up to date, front-end team, back-end team, and also our quality team. We had daily catch-ups where we explain what we did that day. And I think generally we performed well as a team. what we're proud of. We implemented very important programming principle, which is do not repeat yourself. Most of our code can be reused, scale, and it's very well written. We learn a lot, and we have a very good team spirit. That's it from us. Thank you for your attention. I'm gonna have to say that.
Thank you, team roommates, and thank you to all of our teams from the software development cohort. So another round of applause for all of them. It's really impressed me just how far they've come from the very first days of the course, entering in their first lines of Hello World Python code to being able to build full stack applications like the ones that you've seen today. It's really such an amazing journey that you've made. I'm really, really pleased for all of you. I can't wait to see what you will build next. That's the end of our presentations, but not the end of the evening. We have some food out in the main room, which you're more than welcome to help yourself to. There's also more drinks. Myself and the other coach, Leo, French guy with a beard, you might have seen him. He's also wearing a maker's jumper. We're around if you have any questions about the course that you'd like to ask. But otherwise, thank you all for coming, and yeah, have a nice evening.